Namaskar, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the Quantum Summit organized as a part of India Mobile Congress 2025. IMC is India's largest digital technology forum celebrating innovation, science, and enterprise. We are delighted to have with us Professor Abhay Karandikar, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, distinguished dignitaries, eminent scientists, policymakers, and industry leaders. They all are shaping the future of quantum technologies in India. May I now request Dr. JBV Reddy to present a bouquet to Secretary, sir. अच्छा. बस बस. To begin the proceedings, I invite Dr. JBV Reddy, Mission Director, National Quantum Mission, Department of Science and Technology, to deliver the welcome address. Sir, please.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Professor Abhay Karandikar, sir, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, all distinguished guests, speakers, panelists, experts from the academia, R&D lab, industry, startups, and government agencies, and my esteemed colleagues from Department of Science and Technology. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all this session dedicated to the quantum technologies, a domain that is fast transforming the digital and communication landscape. Today's summit is testament to India's growing momentum in quantum science and technology being driven under the National Quantum Mission. As we move towards a quantum-enabled future, the intersections of telecommunications, cybersecurity, and quantum innovation becomes increasing vital. The collaboration between the Department of Telecommunications and Department of Science and Technology underlines our collective effort to make India quantum secure and globally competitive. The National Quantum Mission launched to position India among the leading nations in quantum computing, communication, sensing, and materials. Through our 4 thematic hubs, we are building strong R&D linkages with academia, R&D labs, industry, startups, fostering innovation, and creating robust quantum ecosystem. Today's discussion on post-quantum cryptography, its migration, validation frameworks, and future deployment are not just timely, but crucial as we prepare for a post-quantum world. Once again, I warmly welcome you all for this session and look forward to the fruitful discussion ahead. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for setting the context, welcoming our audience to this very important session. It is now my honor to invite Professor Abhay Karandikar, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, to deliver the keynote address. Sir,
Thank you very much, all the distinguished participants and the speakers and the panelists for today's discussion. Very warm welcome to all of you. As you know that the Department of Science and Technology is steering the National Quantum Mission, and under the National Quantum Mission we have set up 4 thematic hubs. Quantum communication is of course very important thematic hub which has been set up at IIT Madras in collaborations with the CDOT. And as a part of this hub, we have been supporting advancement of quantum communications technologies. Not only, the National Quantum Mission is supporting the research and development activities, but we are also supporting the startups in this area. Yesterday, you saw the presentation on the quantum communications, and we had, several other startups, including the QNU Labs, which has been supported from the National Quantum Mission. We have also set up a dedicated task force on developing the framework of quantum safe ecosystem. This task force is chaired by Dr. R.K. Upadhyay, CEO of CDOT. And this task force is collaborating with academia, government, industry, and startups towards creating a framework for adopting the quantum safe ecosystem. I would like to take this opportunity to highlight the collaborative efforts and the whole of government approach that we have taken in the National Quantum Mission, involving all the stakeholders, which includes not only the academic institutions and universities which have been supported by the National Quantum Mission, but also the national labs like Center for Development of Telematics, CDOT, and the Department of Telecom. In fact, in today's discussions, we are going to have a presentation on the post-quantum cryptography, where the TEC is creating a testing validation framework. So we will have a presentation from them, and also a panel discussion and a presentation on the post-quantum cryptography. As the quantum technologies evolve, the traditional public key cryptography are going to become increasingly vulnerable, and therefore it is extremely important we not only develop the technologies and framework for the quantum safe network, but also create a framework for its wide-scale adoptions in several sectors of the economy, especially the financial institutions. Uh, as a part of creating the awareness, the DST has also initiated several awareness programs for researchers and faculty. We are also contributing towards developing the capacity in our academic institutions. We are going to support the teaching labs, setting up the quantum teaching labs in our academic institutions. In fact, already a call is underway, and we could support up to 75 such labs in our academic institutions. Overall, we hope that with the contributions from all the stakeholders, we will be able to create indigenously developed technologies which will ensure a quantum safe ecosystem in the country. I would like to invite all the stakeholders which are present today, all the researchers, startup innovators, telecom leaders, industry representatives, to continue collaborating under the umbrella of National Quantum Mission, and we will be happy to contribute and support the activities of all the stakeholders in this regards. So once again, thank you very much for participating in today's discussions. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words and for outlining the vision and roadmap for India's leadership in quantum technologies. I'll request Secretary Sir to please come on the stage for the memento. I would like to request Dr. J.B.V. Reddy to present a memento to Secretary Sir. Thank you, sir. We now move to our first technical presentation on post-quantum cryptography, testing and validation framework by Dr. K.K. Agarwal. Dr. Agarwal is the Deputy Director General at Quantum Technologies Division of Telecommunication Engineering Center, Department of Telecommunications. Under his leadership, India released national standards on quantum random number generators and 2 reports on PQC in April 2025. He is the member of DST's task force on quantum safe ecosystems and also chairs its subgroup on PQC testing and certifications. Sir, please.
Namaskar. Respected Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, my seniors, colleagues, friends, I welcome all of you in this forum here. So today my topic is to cover framework for testing and validation and certification of PQC-based quantum safe products and solution. So first question comes in mind, why this framework is required? And what is this framework? This is little bit technical subject, but I hope I will make all of you understand what I would like to deliver in this framework. So as all of us know, quantum computing is evolving fast. Quantum computers will be available in the network very soon. And we are aware about the harvest now, decrypt later attack. So data stolen today will be decrypted later by the quantum computers. So all of us agree on this. So organization needs to prepare today to have business continuity. The day quantum computers will be available, we should be ready so that our business should go on. There is two solutions to survive. Either we should adopt post-quantum cryptography or another is the QKD, quantum key distribution solutions. So today I will cover about the PQC. So this framework is a guideline to adopt PQC in trustworthy manner to secure our static data or data in transit, use of public key infrastructure, etc. Okay. So if you see this framework, this is the whole framework, what we would like to explain in the next slide. So first point is testing and certification of PQC-based quantum secure products or solution by mapping with assurance label. Second point is we should have a test guide. Third one is the preparation of or designating testing labs where we can do the testings. And then results should be validated by the committee, and after validating the results, a certificate should be issued. So there are two ways. One way, whatever standard algorithms are there, so we are using that standard algorithms to implement in our own way. Another way is we will have our own standards, own algorithms, and then implementing those algorithms to have this solution. So basically I am telling about this here. Three things. One is a framework. Second is about labs. Third one is about the certification framework, how certificate will be issued. So each and every PQC-based product or solution, we will assign a assurance label to each of the product. Assurance label is what? It will give a certificate that yes, this particular product is assured at the label of say 1, 2, 3, 4. Label 1 is low risk. Label 4 is high risk. So you can understand like assurance label is nothing but bharose ka pratik. Bharose ka pratik. So assurance label 1, we are giving it for non-sensitive environment. Assurance level 2, where consumer grade equipments are there. If you see 2, it is divided in 2A, 2B, 2C. 2A is for the software portion of the PQC. 2B and 2C are for the hardware part of the PQC. 2B is for the IT/IoT products, but 2C is for the SCADA, PLC, all these kind of products. Assurance level 3 is for the enterprise grade deployment. And assurance level 4 is the zero trust architecture for the sovereign grade deployments. So coming to assurance level 1, this will be applicable for the basic conformance of PQC implementation. Suppose we are going to set up a lab. So there is no commercial impact. It's a non-sensitive environment. So for those kind of environment, we will use assurance level 1. Assurance level 2A, like implementation of VPN, messenger, cloud solutions, we will use assurance level 2A. Assurance level 2B, already I explained about the consumer grade assurance. So deployment will be at the edge deployment of hardware. 2C is also about the edge deployment of hardware for the SCADA. Assurance level 3, enterprise grade. Right. So coming to level 1, if a product is given a certificate of assurance level 1, then that product should meet all the test requirement mentioned in these 4 subcategories. One category is about the cryptographic check, another is about the interoperability, third one is the performance check, fourth is the security assurance. So I have written few of the test cases here just for understanding. There are many more test cases under, say, cryptographic check. I wrote only 2. There are many more. It is a part of the in the annexures. So coming to the cryptographic check, what we are ensuring here, correct implementation of PQC algorithms. So we will validate the key using the encryption, decryptions, using the known answer test vectors. We have the repository of known answer test at the GitHub, maybe at the NIST, or we have PQ Clean. So we have repositories. So we will use known answer test to verify whether implementation of PQC algorithm is correct or not. Then we will verify random number generator using the statistical test suite like ENT dieharder. Coming to the interoperability, this part, interoperability. So in interoperability, what we are trying to ensure that in case of hybrid implementation, our equipment should be interoperable. Hybrid means classical plus PQC. Now, say one particular standard is implemented by multiple agencies. So they may use some language or operating systems or say libraries. So all these should interoperate. Suppose I am encrypting using a libqs library. Somebody is decrypting using the, say, OpenSSL. It should interoperate. Likewise, for the different operating systems, likewise for the different languages. So cross-library, cross-platform, cross-languages, that should be tested in this. Coming to the performance check, we will check basically throughput, latency, key generation times, encapsulation, decapsulation, encryption, decryptions. So all these things will be verified under the performance check. Coming to the security assurance, in security assurance, vulnerability analysis will be carried out. So there are many tools available today also. And apart from that, error handling will be carried out for the wrong input. If suppose intentionally we are giving wrong input, what will be the output? Like then signature forgery attempts, that should be checked. So after all this test, assurance level 1 will be given to the solution. Next level is assurance level 2A. So level 2A will be given to a product if assurance level 1 is already tested, and then we'll go with the assurance level 2A. So in level 2A, key lifecycle management will be tested here. Key lifecycle management for the cloud HSM based implementation. Interoperability, whatever we have done in the level 1A, that will be there. Performance check. So here we will check cryptographic benchmarking using some tools, SuperCop, or we can use performance of AES check. In level 2A, we are more focusing on the software security assurance. In this, we will go with the fudge testing, negative testing, VAPT, secure code review, but now code is not being given. So what we will do, we will go with the test reports of the code implementation. We can go with the self-declaration from the OEMs. Memory analysis will be carried out, adoption of secure coding practices. Then in case of side channel attacks, so timing analysis, test vector leakage analysis, this will be carried out under this label 2A. So suppose somebody come with a VPN solution. So we have to give him label 2A assurance, and it should also comply with the label 1. Coming to label 2B and 2C, this label is for the hardware. So in this particular, what we are seeing, on-premise hardware implementation, say HSM. So this comes under this under the category of label 2B. So here key management lifecycle with agility will be tested. Hardware security assurance, we have to focus here. So in this one, hardware root of trust, that is to be ensured. It's a little bit technical, but I hope I will be able to make all of you understand what we would like to say. So hardware root of trust, secure boot of PLC, secure storage of key at the gateway routers, that should be tested here. Side channel resistance testing, like simple oblique differential power analysis. So by doing the power analysis, we can assure about the side channel resistance. Then counterfeit PCB, we will check here. Over the air update of firmware, protocol fudging. So basically in this particular label 2B and 2C, we will ensure about the hardware security assurance. Because software assurance, we have done it in 2A. So after 2A, 2B comes. Then platform specific testing will be carried out here. For IT, IoT, label 2B will be there. For OT, operational systems, it will be label 2C. Coming to label 3. So label 3, the enterprise grade deployment. So if a product or solution is passing label 1, label 2A, 2B, 2C, then comes label 3. So in label 3, what additional we are doing here, we are checking the crypto agility. So switching PQC and hybrid implementation, once vulnerability is detected, then we have to switch back. So crypto agility should be ensured here. Then our TRNG or QRNG entropy validation will be done using the GR of TEC. Then here, performance check, we will do deep performance check here. Deep performance check means we will check the memory usage, CPU usage, GPU usage, power usage. So all these things will be checked. Then CPU, GPU acceleration, then bandwidth consumptions. So this will be checked in level 3. Security assurance, it's a continuous process, continuous integration, continuous deployment of automations that will be done here. Automated vulnerability analysis will be done here. And security assessment oblique audit, that will be part of this level 3. In level 3, we have also added sector-specific regulatory compliances. So today, like in telecom, we have MTCT, mandatory testing and certification of telecom equipment, and trusted source of telecom equipments. And in transportation, we have AIS 140. In energy sectors, we have CA 2021. So any sector-specific regulatory compliance will be part of level 3. So this is the level 4, that is the sovereign grade. So here, indigenous algorithms will be developed, say somebody. So we have to test the algorithm and implementation of algorithm. Both will be done here. So other than this, validation of hybrid implementation fetching key from QKD. So earlier I have not talked about the fetching key from QKD, but here I am talking about the key fetching from the QKD. So this will be the check done here. Performance check, like disaster recovery, that will be part of this, and business continuity. Security assurance, zero trust, no trust at all on anything. It's a sovereign grade security. And strategic sector specific compliance, this is not a part of this framework. So strategic sector we are not covering here in framework, sir. So for hybrid implementation, say equipment which is today classical, we have upgraded to the hybrid we are implementing hybrid. So we deploy a PQC solution on that equipment. So in this particular case, somebody comes and says, okay, my classical crypto was validated using this FIPS 140-2. So whether are you going to take that certificate into cognizance or not? So it depends upon the sector regulators. Because once we do any cryptographic changes, then a lot of backdoor opens. So that's why I've written here, acceptance of already tested classical cryptographic implementation through test certificates like FIPS may be decided by sector regulators. Then migration timeline to use PQC-based PKI certificate may be decided by the sector regulator because it differs from the sector to sector. Then as and when RFC for PQC-based protocol from IETF would be available, it will be applicable and we have to confirm those RFC. Today we don't have RFC available, PQC-based RFC for say IPsec, TLS. We have RFC for the classical IPsec, for the classical TLS, but not for the PQC. But tomorrow it will be available. Today all these RFC are in draft phase. Then last point is about the EMI, EMC, Safety, Environment, Technical Conformance. So this will be tested as per the existing regulation. This is not a part of framework. Already this is existing now. So coming to the next part is the lab designation process. So how we will designate lab? So we are envisaging that 3 tiers of lab will be there, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1 will take care of the label 1, tier 2 will take care of the label 2A, 2B, 2C, and tier 3 will take care of label 3 and 4. So whatever we have shown in the label 1, all these things should be checked by the tier 1 lab. Suppose somebody comes to the tier 2 lab for checking the product. So tier 2 lab should also ensure that tier 1 test cases should be tested in their lab, or he can have some tie-up kind of thing. So today we don't have lab. We have to evolve the lab, we have to pursue the existing labs so that they can have this kind of testing facilities. So what we are trying to do, whatever labs are available today, we are listing all these labs. And then we will approach them and we will incentivize them so that they can adopt this PQC-based solutions. They can carry out testings. So today we have lab from TEC, BIS labs, STQC, CERTIN. So lab designation process, few things we have written. This shall meet the eligibility criteria of ISO IEC 17025. Then labs should be able to demonstrate cryptographic testing capability, including PQC, side channel analysis, interoperability testing, VAPT. And then labs should have skilled manpower. They should have some certification like CISSP, CEH, crypto-specific qualification. So these are the few requirements, eligibility criteria that has come in the discussions. Then secure facility for handling the sensitive data. That lab should ensure this. We have a DP Act also. So certification framework. So someone will, whomsoever is the vendor, he will submit the application form, and along with that complete detail will be there. This last one. After that, pre-assessment of the bomb bill of material will be there, S bomb, C bomb, cryptographic bombs. Then lab assignment will be there, and validator will be assigned. After that, testing will be carried out, and test reports will be evaluated. And finally, certificate will be given. This is standard process I've written. So this is the last slide, issuance of certificate. So certificate should give clearly, it should state clearly about the assurance level, validity of the certificate, whether retesting is required. If suppose major software update is there, then OEM is to declare whether we have to do the retesting or not. If not, then he should give self-declaration. Then maximum time for testing and certification, we should ensure some time, maybe 6 months or something. So I thank all the member of the subcommittee and audience. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Agarwal, for those valuable insights on PQC validation and testing frameworks, vital for India's secure transition to post-quantum era. I would request Secretary, sir, to present a memento to Dr. K.K. Agarwal. Thank you, sir. Next, we have a presentation on PQC migration by Dr. Ramesh Guram, Chief Information Security Officer, Bombay Stock Exchange, India. Mr. Guram is a seasoned information security leader with over 20 years of experience in cybersecurity risk management and governance. He has built strong security programs and led the creation of a next-gen cybersecurity operations center. At BSE, he focuses on protecting critical financial infrastructure. Earlier, at Multi-Commodity Exchange of India, he strengthened data privacy, risk management, and compliance systems. He is known for strategic vision, teamwork, and aligning security with business goals. He promotes resilience and operational excellence in cybersecurity. Sir, please.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So with that detailed presentation by Agarwal sir, I think it's little lighter, it's not too technical, and we'll be focusing more on strategic roadmap. So considering the quantum developments and evolution happening across, how to migrate with a defined timelines in mind, right? So quantum safe migration timelines and strategic roadmap I'll be talking about. So quickly, right? We all acknowledge that quantum is becoming a threat sooner or later, right? So that, considering that, we have come up with a timelines and roadmap to prepare ourselves by 2028 and prototype by 2030 and migration by 2033. And then who are all the stakeholders in this migration journey at a means national level and enterprise level, right? So we'll be talking about it. And what are the challenges and actions? What are the next steps from now onwards? Just to touch base, classical computing and quantum computing are very, sounds very simple to write, understand, but the major difference between them is the very fabric is built between bits and qubits, right? Zeros and ones is classical, and the quantum works something called qubits. And the most important differentiation is their processing. Classical is always a sequential, and quantum is always a parallel processing system. The very unique nature of this one gives us a lot of advantages of quantum computing with very, immense power, immense capability and efficiency to compute the things. And then potentially where what? It works on something called probabilistic means outcomes, right? And whereas classical is simply, it is deterministic, either 0 or 1, yes or no, right? So with this touch point, this kind of understanding on this technology in mind, what is most concerned and why we are discussing about this topic is the threats, right? Why we are concerned about so much about this technologies, threat to security. So the technologies and the technical means methodology and terminology used by our previous speaker, they all are depend upon something called cryptography, right? Cryptography, encryption, algorithms, symmetric, asymmetric. These are all the jargon we generally use for protecting the data and information on ground. Okay. So therefore, symmetric half security 128 to 64-bit, right? Asymmetric crypto foundations, they're all math. These two technologies are going to be impacted once this quantum computing becomes a reality. Why? With the very reason of capacity and capability of quantum, it can easily break the algorithms and the keys which we are using for encryption and decryption, right? So that is one threat, it is a looming, and it will directly impact the very fabric of PKI. Today, entire digital transactions, digital ecosystem is using this PKI ecosystem, which brings up the very comfort of meeting the regulatory requirements to encrypt the data at motion, rest, and in use, right? So therefore, that will go for a toss the moment it becomes a reality. And of course, infrastructure, we are using encryption everywhere in the infrastructure where what servers or the switches, routers, inbuilt firmwares, everything uses something called a cryptography. So those things also will become a vulnerable areas for once this comes into action. And TLS, VPN, already Agarwal sir has talked about, right? So these technologies will be exposed to a threat of getting compromised. Now next is industry perception. So we have to be very interesting term as harvest now, decrypt later. Why it is very important to consider, right? Now we have a comfort of we are already encrypting the data, and nobody, if somebody gets hold of it also, you'll not be able to decrypt and use it, right? But what if some nation states, somebody having some thought process around making a kind of cyber threat at nation level as to the individuals or to the data, whatever is the data which is to be retained for certain years as per regulatory requirements. Maybe Indian regulators or international regulator, they mandate, right? We need to keep our data for certain years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years like that. What happens, that guy gets hold of that encrypted data, harvests it, right? And then once this quantum computing becomes a reality, it will be easy for him to decrypt. So the security what we are feeling now, maybe not be the way it will be after certain years when that technology comes into action. Therefore, harvest now, decrypt later is the immediate actionable for all the critical organizations. Of course, everybody who is holding sensitive data getting encrypted to take care of. And again, this industry perception, like, right, as I just talked about HNDL. So 60% fear that attacks on their data because they can get hold of it and do the damage later. And 65% quantum top threat in 3 to 5 years. Why? Because that is a tentative timeline people are believing quantum will become a reality, right? So therefore, sectorial cascades, HNDL, long migration, these are some of the areas which are posing a kind of concerns to the industry. And post-quantum, this algorithms, right? Lattice, code, hash, multivariate based, all these quantum related algorithms will also become a kind of a lot of competition, lot of ambiguity, which one to choose, which one to properly test it, all that, right? These are the areas which will pose everybody a serious concern to ponder over and have a plan, have a roadmap to address these concerns. So again, a small touch base on India's digital ecosystem, right? These are all the figures we are seeing every day, right? Our digital economy and transactions, volumes, tons and tons of transactions happening across all various platforms of BFSI sector. This gives a kind of special focus to our nation in this area. Now, right, Agarwal sir talked about, right, this scale of cryptography, all these technologies, SSO, IDAM, TLS, API, SMIME, VPN, these are all the security fabric under which existing digital transactions are safely being carried out. What if all these technologies, all these security principles, authentication, secure communication, IoT, OT, everything having so much of dependency on a cryptography, the moment it becomes a kind of prone to this quantum breaking, right? All this security fabric, it is a serious concern, and we should have a proper roadmap and plan to address it. So with that, our subgroup on quantum resiliency, crypto agility, and PQC migration, we have come up with three milestones to safely migrate to PQC area. Post-quantum cryptography migration is thought through in three phases. That is milestone 1, not later than 2028. So it's from now onwards, it's around 2.5 years, right? And there, wherein it will set the context, it will set the baseline and the foundation to this migration journey, and moving from awareness to preparedness and putting building blocks in place and define risk and migration. The overall understanding of orienting the organizations to this journey. And the second milestone will be not later than 2030. Again, once milestone 1 is successfully set up, and then we'll slowly move to the milestone 1 achievement, from starting with pilots and preparation to finished executing migration of critical systems. Because again, yeah, we are going to quickly cover that detail. And milestone 3 is the one where we will be, achieving full-fledged migration to PQC, wherein any quantum-related threat is posing during that time, we will be able to successfully counter that, prevent that, and avoid the damage. So let's quickly dwell upon what this milestone 1 is all about, right? Milestone 1, what we'll be doing, like right from 2026 to 2027, we'll set something called C-bombs. You might have heard about the recent certain guidelines on S-bomb, C-bomb, AI-bomb. These are the terminology our regulators are highlighting, like why this is very important. If you talk about the S-bomb software bill of material taken prominence, because whenever some attacks happen in any third-party component, many of the organizations grapple to find out where it is used, how many applications, how many systems they are using with that vulnerable component, right? Same logic applies here. C-bomb. If you know what are the cryptographic presence in your network, it will be easy for you to manage any kind of threat or risk you can contain easily. At least you can contain the damage. So that is what is going to set the context here. You will try to bring visibility of what cryptographic algorithms you are using, and then from 27 to 28, you will be mandating it. First, you will start as a practice, as a means process, you will set it. Once you have that comfort, then you will start mandating it, getting C-bomb wherever it is being used. So it will come into your process. It will come into your governance, right? And then milestone 2 talks about, again, once your foundation is set, when you have planned and strategized, then you have discovered your inventory, C-bomb, and then you should go for something called risk analysis and crypto agility. So this is one area which is crucial for the success of this migration. Why? Because even though you have set this foundation, you need to successfully do pilots in your environment. First of all, you need to do a kind of risk assessment and analysis, find out which one is critical to your business, to your organization, and target them in such a way you are able to conduct successful POCs, get a comfort, set the culture, set the processes, and then slowly move on to the other systems. So therefore, milestone to start from 2029 and ends at 2030, by which you have done successful POCs on some of the critical systems. Now you are ready to go for phased Big Bang approach. But of course, Big Bang approach is not advisable one. Big Bang approach with broken milestones and again phased approach and adoption, right? So that will start from 2031 to 33. So 31 to 33, the plan will be the PQC becomes default systems. Once you have done successful POCs, you will move out to the other areas, right? Other critical systems, then medium systems, low-level systems, that so that you are covering your entire ecosystem of applications and networks. And then after that, that will not stop there. Then you have to set the agility into your system. What is agility? Yes, we'll touch base quickly upon that. And if I have to go deep into milestone one, very, very important. In every milestone, two aspects are common and important. They are governance strategy. This is essential and very important in each and every milestone. And of course, assurance and oversight. What our previous speaker, Dr. Agarwal sir, has explained, right? That is also most important in every milestone. Whatever we are doing, that should be, we should get a assurance through validation and testing. So if you talk about this milestone one, governance and strategy, what we should do on ground, you have to set the context to governance, right? You should have some team, a dedicated team, a team lead, a project, and that project will have some budget, right? And cross-functional collaboration, right? Maybe IT or security guy working on this project may not sometimes yield the result, right? We need to pull in the business users, other areas, other departments, functional heads, so that it becomes a holistic program. And then ensure quarterly board visibility. Again, you should have your management's means buy-in and their approval, so that the journey becomes very easy. And align vendors and ecosystem. You should know overall your vendor services, systems, what is its presence, and then plan for contingency. In case of suddenly, we are talking today like it is a plan roadmap. What if tomorrow or next month, within 6 months, the quantum is really coming into action? So in the recently, you might have heard one of the MNCs that successfully tested quantum trading, right? So like that, if somebody comes up and they are stating that this is a reality, contingency, it has come. So how prepared you are? So therefore, that is the first governance strategy, and then discovery and inventory. I just touch based. Okay. So once you get the inventory, you will have better visibility of what you have, and then quantum risk analysis. You have to do the assessment. How many are critical? How many are the non-critical ones? And then define the crypto agility. The most important concept of this entire journey is agility. What it says is, let's suppose you have already prepared, you have done POCs, but cryptographies, algorithms, they keep changing, right? If some vulnerability in that algorithm and the protocol itself, we need to upgrade it. We need to make it non-vulnerable, safe, right? So there, we should have a mechanism of agility, which means you should be able to bring the changes, go for the upgradations without starting from the beginning. It should be seamless. That's what agility means, which is a setup. You should have some kind of sandboxing and a testing environment, which will be working on continuous basis, so that any concerns regarding protocols vulnerability is taken care. And again, once you do the POCs on selected systems, go to the migration of high-risk systems on one by one and a phased manner. And then last but not the least, you should get assurance and oversight. Whatever you have done, how far it is aligning with the global practices, best practices, right? So that kind of a testing and assurance, what we got the visibility in the previous session, so we should follow that. So the timelines for this is this 2028. Again, this is contingency plan we should have. If all of a sudden something happens, we should have a contingency plans through means interim solutions like say proxies, VPNs, quantum based ones. And then migration 2 is, again, these two verticals are common, governance strategy and assurance and testing. The only addition here is, once you have taken the CBOM, getting the visibility and governance right, now you start mandating it. So initially you have set it for only critical systems and some kind of baseline. Now in this phase, you should mandate it. Every application, every system which is using cryptography should have this CBOM. And then start measuring your progress, KPIs, set up some KPIs, track it, supervise it, and course correct wherever it is required. And then migration of critical systems. Once you have chosen the little bunch in the initial, now you start expanding it to the other critical and medium and low. And again, last but not the least, testing and assurance. You should get yourself assured by testing, aligning with the standards and practices. And migration to third stage is two are again common. Now the year your governance will talk more about PQ set up across all systems and processes. So it will be a kind of full-blown implementation in the organization. And again, formalize the cryptographic life cycle management. Once it gets into action in the respective organization, it should become a life cycle management. Whenever new systems, upgrades, commissioning, decommissioning, all that cryptography should part of your entire life cycle of these products. And then enterprise-wise migration completion. Once you finish building the quantum resilience across the organization, then operate PQC only trust chain internally. Again, you need to have somebody maybe having the internal PKI. Internal PKI is also very popular in many of big organizations, right? That also you should take care and ensure they are also quantum resistant. And explore interim solutions for non-migratable legacy systems. Most important. Many organizations are sometimes they may have legacy systems which sometimes not get this kind of a what we call interoperability or kind of support, right? So you should have a proper plan on how to handle that, how to securely migrate it. Maybe you should have a long-term plan of migrating those legacy systems. In the interim, you should have some compensatory controls, some kind of mechanism to avoid them from exposing to the quantum-related risk. And last, again, we should go for third-party validation like from the previous approach, right? So these are the three milestones we talked about. And in this journey, overall, what is the migration personas? How it should be taken? It may be like urgency of migration to post-quantum is not uniform across all organizations, right? Everybody may not follow the same path, right? Based on your organization's shape, size, criticality, and regulatory requirements, you can have a different personas you can decide based on the type of the organization. This is first persona belongs to urgent adopters. These are the organizations which are critical, right? CII, critical information infrastructure, and organization which is of national importance and which are very holding sensitive data and sensitive business. They all will fall under urgent adopters, which they should target to complete this migration by 2030. And the persona 2 is regular adopters. Apart from persona 1, all other organizations can follow these timelines of milestone 1, 2, 3 and achieve it by 2033. And persona 3, most important, the vendor ecosystem and OEM ecosystem. Like enablers and providers must lead by example, right? See, everybody, like lot of startups, a lot of companies are working on this technology. They should lead implementation of this technology and this migration in a more proactive way, so that ultimately any organization comes back to some supporter, some service provider and OEM, right? So this persona has a greater responsibility to adopt this migration on a war footing basis. And I think I already touch based this agility. This is most important concept during this migration. So therefore, we all must have a plan around this. And what are the challenges in this journey, right? So definitely any project and such a big migration, we will have its own challenges, right? First one is algorithm uncertainty and side channel vulnerabilities. And these are some of the security related challenges with this technology brings. So we should have a mechanism and thought process around how to address this. And ESG, performance and scalability, right? Most important. ESG is going to be a big regulation from across the globe and even in our country, right? So the computing, the resources being utilized by quantum computers requires a special thought, special plan around this requirement. And compliance challenges, validation lag, lot of technical algorithms, protocols, everything will be there. Are they work in tandem at the same time? There may be lag, how you are going to handle that. That is a challenge. That Agrawal sir talked about, right? The migration, hybrid, how you are going to coexist with other technologies. This is one of the challenge we are going to have. We should have a plan, right? And regulatory uncertainty, legal issues, these are the areas we should take care. And ecosystem challenges, vendor lock-in, PKI compatibility, these are some of the means challenges we may get. With thought through planning and strategy, we should be able to address these challenges. And my last slide. So the key takeaways from this talk is like quantum computing is threat. It's almost real now, so we should act immediately. And then follow our milestones, what we talked about, prepare, pilot, and migrate. And then adopt agility, the most important concept we talked about. And then have visibility of your inventory. That is most important. Cybersecurity runs around a visibility concept, right? You can't manage that what you can't see. So you should have full visibility of the inventory. And then engage personas, the 3 types of personas. Engage with them, collaborate, and then let's make this journey seamless. And next steps, again, these are some of the pointers our subcommittee has thought through. And forming a quantum safe task force, begin inventory and risk assessments, and budget pilots and training. Training is most important. Any adoption will not be successful if it is siloed, right? You have to bring in all the stakeholders. They should be trained. That change, cultural changes should be brought into the organization so that adoption becomes easy and seamless. Yeah, and monitor PQC standardization progress, right? That's all from my side. And these are the members of the subgroup, right? So who have been part of this document preparation. And thanks to all these people, and thanks to DST for this continuous support and guidance. And so all these members have contributed in preparing this roadmap. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that comprehensive presentation on PQC migration and the roadmap for secure implementation across financial sectors. I will now request Mr. Anurag to kindly present a bouquet and a memento to Dr. Ramesh Guram. Memento. I'll now request Mr. Joy to kindly present a bouquet to Dr. K.K. Agarwal. Section chair, sir. We can have the photograph with the session chairs, the keynote speakers. Chairs, chairs. We now come to the highlight of today's summit, the panel discussion. The discussion will be moderated by Professor Bhaskar Kanseri from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. Dr. Kanseri is IHFC Chair Professor in Department of Physics. He is also a joint faculty at the Optics and Photonics Center. Before joining IIT Delhi, he was the postdoctoral fellow at Institut d'Optique, France, and earlier at the Max Planck Institute, Germany. He earned his PhD from the University of Delhi and National Physical Laboratory. He received IIT Delhi's Teaching Excellence and Veena Arora Early Career Research Award in 2022. He is a NASI member and INSA Associate Fellow. Professor Kansari has led India's longest secure communication demonstrations and entanglement-based quantum network initiatives under National Quantum Mission. I would request Professor Kansari to kindly join us on the stage. I'll request Mr. Harjas to kindly present a bouquet to Dr. Bhaskar Kanseri. He's not there. Last person. We are privileged to have with us an eminent panel of experts driving India's quantum technology ecosystem. Our first panelist, Professor Chandrasekhar from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, is a leading quantum physicist. He specializes in quantum algorithms and photonic quantum computations. Professor Chandrasekhar earned his PhD in Canada and previously served at IMC Chennai. With 85 plus papers and 3 patents, he is a Rhodes Scholar and Ramanujan Fellow. He leads India's photonic quantum computing initiative under the National Quantum Mission. I request Professor Chandrasekhar to kindly join us on the stage. I request Dr. Mitali to kindly present a bouquet to Dr. Chandrasekhar. Our second panelist is Mr. Nilesh Thande, co-founder and CEO of 42 Labs. 42 Labs is India's first quantum-safe cybersecurity platform. It protects banks, defense, and infrastructure using cryptographic identity and zero-trust tech. Mr. Nilesh has 23 years of experience in cybersecurity and product innovation. He builds ventures with deep tech and national impact. He co-founded Unicane, which created the REL ID platform. He also led projects at Infosys and Kyoshi Education. Mr. Nilesh holds an MBA in Information Systems Management and aims to strengthen India's role in digital trust and cybersecurity. I request Mr. Nilesh to kindly join us on the stage. I request Dr. Jagrati to kindly present a bouquet to Dr. Nilesh. Mr. Nilesh. Our third panelist is Dr. Prashant Chuk, currently working as Scientist F in Center for Development of Telematics, CDOT, Telecom Technology Center of Government of India. He leads the PQC initiative at CDOT. Dr. Prashant is a lead project investigator of a multi-institutional collaborative PQC project granted under National Quantum Mission. He has more than 29 years of work experience in development of telecom systems. He has also been an active IEEE volunteer in the past and has served as a chapter chair of IEEE Communications Society, Delhi chapter. I request Dr. Prashant to kindly join us on the stage. I request Dr. Gaurav to kindly present a bouquet to Dr. Prashant. Our next panelist is Professor Rajendra Singh, Project Director of the Thematic Hub on Quantum Materials and Devices set up at IIT Delhi. Dr. Singh is a professor at the Department of Physics and at IIT Delhi and serves as a principal investigator of the Advanced Semiconductor Materials and Devices Group. He also holds a joint faculty position in Department of Electrical Engineering at IIT Delhi. His research focuses on gallium nitride-based and gallium oxide-based devices, semiconductor nanowires, and the growth and characterization of quantum materials. I request Professor Rajendra Singh to join us on the stage. I request Dr. Jyoti to kindly present a bouquet to Professor Rajendra Singh. Our next panelist is Dr. C.V. Sridhar from Tata Consultancy Services. Dr. Sridhar leads alliances and ecosystem partnership in TCS Quantum Computing Incubation Team. With 22 plus years experience across finance, government and telecom, he drives large-scale technology transformations. His expertise includes quantum computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and robotics. He also represents TCS on the Bureau of Indian Standards and ITU National Working Group. I request Dr. Sridhar to be on the stage. I request Dr. Sugandha to please kindly present a bouquet to Dr. Sridhar. Thank you. The next panelist is Dr. Sunil Gupta, CEO and co-founder QNew Labs. Dr. Gupta is a business leader and entrepreneur with 30 years of experience in building path-breaking products and teams across startups and global companies. With deep expertise in product engineering, he has contributed to revolutions in computing, telecom, satcom, mobile, and AI. Believing that digital self-reliance depends on secure technology, he founded QNew Labs to create quantum-safe platforms. Under his leadership, QNew Labs launched India's first commercial quantum-safe solutions. I request Ms. Priyanshi to kindly present a bouquet to Dr. Sunil Gupta. I now invite Professor Kanseri and distinguished panelists to kindly begin their discussions.
So thank you very much. So first of all, thanks all for joining us. So it's from the voice is clear? You hear me? Yeah, okay. So since morning we have been hearing about National Quantum Mission. We have also talked a lot about quantum technologies, and you all will agree with the fact that the quantum era is approaching. And the quantum technologies are going to play a very important role, especially which are the foundations of quantum mechanics, which are going to play behind all this. And if you see the recent Nobel Award, which is also in one of the domains of quantum physics. So the National Quantum Mission has already been announced last year, and there has been a lot of activities which are going on. In fact, there are 4 hubs which has been formed, which are in the area of quantum computing, which is in ISC and ISC Bangalore. We have quantum communication hub, which is in IIT Madras. We have quantum materials and devices, which is at IIT Delhi, and we have quantum sensing and metrology, which is at IIT Bombay. And National Quantum Mission is essentially going to be an enabler of the quantum ecosystem. Government is facilitating, is supporting us by all means so that we could develop our own technologies, especially if you look into the thrust because of the geopolitical situations. It is very important that it should be made in India and we could be able to be Atmanirbhar. So without going into much detail, I would like to start the discussion with the first very prominent technology, that is quantum computing. And we have already Professor Chandrasekhar with us. So as we all know that quantum computing or quantum computer is going to be a machine which is orders of magnitude better in terms of computational capabilities compared with the supercomputers which we have nowadays. And it is going to solve many kind of complex problems, not only in the area of healthcare, drug discoveries, but also in optimization. So my question to Professor Chandrasekhar is that what is the global perspective, what is the Indian perspective where we are currently, and what kind of different perspectives in terms of algorithms, in terms of different type of ways the qubits are being formed, and if you would like to put some more details that which one is winning the race finally.
So quantum computing, as you said, is going to be disruptive across the domain. Either it's communications, cybersecurity, or even solving real life network problems or what you call optimization problems. So there are two aspects here. When we look at computation, first is the hardware, and the other one is the kinds of problems it's vision to solve, right? So hardware, there are quite a few competitors. So superconducting qubits, photonics, and cold atoms, both ions and ultra cold atoms. So there is also plan for silicon-based qubits. Now, currently superconducting qubits are being bit prominent, IBM, Google, and the companies in the global scenario. So these companies have taken up the research which was done for decades from universities. So they have taken it as a technology translation and scaling up into a large scale. Are they the ultimate hardwares? No. The clear answer is no. So there has been a strong advantages of each and every hardware which people are looking at. There are also big roadblocks with all of them. So next decade or even more, all these hardwares will have their roles to play. So they might be used to, one of the hardware might have an important role to solve some specialized problems, and another hardware might be important to play, so solve some other specialized problems. So they are all being parallelly pursued, and there is currently, if you are looking at today's scenario, we have certain benchmarks for qubits. So superconducting qubits building has been a bit more easier, and ion trap have a good coherence time. Photons works in room temperature. So if I'm asked as an advantages of these things. So these hardwares have been pursued across the globe. And now coming to problems, there are two kinds of problems which people are trying to look at big. One is what we call computational complexity problem, like cracking the cyber security issues, or it could be the problems which have been hard to solve even with supercomputers. The other one is simulation related problems. It can be chemical complexes, or it can be modeling some of the physical systems so that you can discover new ones. So these two classes of problems, so the small scale computers which are available globally, it might be few qubits to 30, 40. So people have been able to leverage those qubits to simulate various complex systems. So which is said a good example to envision that over long run, you will be able to solve many complexity problems. Have we done the computational complexity problem, like breaking the cyber security? Not yet, because you still need to have an error corrected larger number of qubits. As in the previous presentations you saw, next 4 or 5 years you might be able to do that with the qubits available, error corrections feasible. So this is the global scenario. So people have been looking at hardwares, and there has been problems which has been solved across. If you come to India, last many years, there has been a good scientific research not as a technology transformation, either with photonic systems or with superconducting or cold atoms. But they were not at the scale of taking up as a technology and build qubits with it. But over last 2-3 years, there's been a very good progress with it. So we have some progress with superconducting qubits and even with photonics. Cold atoms are picking up now. And so which is a very promising steps under the National Quantum Mission. The movement has been much more aggressive, so that we'll be able to solve not just repeat something which has been done. So whole of the proposals have been now to look at novelty, so that you're not catching up alone, you're catching up and trying to bring in something new to the world rather than just repeating something. So that I would sum up as a scenario.
So thank you. So you mentioned about that it is going to solve many of the problems, and you also mentioned about cracking the cybersecurity. So this comes to my next question, which will be to the next panelist, because as also from the morning we have been hearing about post-quantum cryptography, and everybody was talking about that the quantum computers are coming in a big way, and they are one of the big threat for the existing security solutions. So my question to the next panelist, that is Prashant, is if you look into quantum secure communication, can you tell us very briefly to our audience that how in global perspective or how in our national perspective we are doing in quantum communication?
Yeah, thank you, Professor Bhaskar, and thanks DST for having me here as a panelist. So, with respect to quantum secure communications, basically there are two technologies worldwide. One is called quantum key distribution, and other is the post-quantum cryptography. The first one is based on quantum physics, and the second one is based on hard mathematics. So, quantum security is very important because although these quantum computers have a lot of advantages in different sectors, but with respect to security, they are a threat to the cryptography. So therefore, these two technologies are very important. Worldwide, globally, there is a focus. Some countries, they focus more on PQC. Some countries focus more on QKD. For example, US has a lot of focus on PQC only, and China has more focus on QKD, while Europe is focusing on both QKD, PQC, and India is also focusing both on QKD and PQC. And worldwide, for PQC, US NIST is the agency under Department of Commerce which has done the competition for the various cryptographic algorithms. And there are different programs worldwide across various countries like even Australia, Japan, South Korea, US, where they have large funded programs for quantum initiatives and migration to technologies. So with respect to globally, India is also well placed, I will say, because India started this journey on quantum secure communications well in time, and we have organizations in India. CDOT is there, then DRDO is there, CDAC is there, SETS Chennai is there, then a lot of academia, IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Madras, IIT Delhi, so all have been working on various technologies, and we have a number of startups also. So there has been a lot of work which was already going on in these areas, and further thrust was given by National Quantum Mission last year. And this National Quantum Mission, it established this quantum communication hub at IIT Madras in association with CDOT, and it had various technical groups defined under it. And for example, there is a technical group on post-quantum cryptography which is led by CDOT. And then there are various technical groups. For example, IIT Madras is leading a technical group in quantum key distribution for long distance across metro communication. Then IIT Delhi has an entanglement based QKD system. And then you have a group led by Satellite Center in Ahmedabad on satellite based QKD. And then you have a group led by Raman Research Institute, Bangalore, which is on quantum repeaters and quantum memories. So a lot of focus has been there, and India ranks fairly well. And I would like to tell that as per a recent report by Australia Strategic Policy Institute, India ranks number 3 in the world in the post-quantum cryptography. So this is good for us that we are working, and we will be, I'm sure, with so much efforts going on, India is going to lead in quantum communications.
Thank you. Apart from computing and communication, quantum sensors are coming in a very big way. Not only sensors, we have precision metrology, which is also going to be a very key player in the coming years. So we have Dr. Sridhar here, who's from TCS, and he has been quite involved in quantum sensing related activities. So my question to you is that how India is accelerating its own capabilities toward quantum sensing, quantum imaging, and quantum metrology, and where we are placed in comparison to if we look into the global scenario.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, and thank you for having us in this panel. So quantum sensing is one of the most important themes in the entire quantum landscape, and it is also the near-term one. And we have already been using some of these things like the MRI machines, which are actually based on superconductivity, so we can consider them as quantum. Right. So in the sensing bucket, so we have 3-4 technologies that are emerging. So one is on the magnetometry, so where we use magnetic imaging using quantum sensing based approaches using quantum particles, and then do magnetic imaging. The other areas that are evolving here are in gravitymetry, inertial sensors, and then we have atomic clocks. So these are technologies that are being built right now. So we can reimagine all our medical equipment so that we are using today using these quantum sensors. And, and actually what's going to happen is these sensors will also give a lot of information, so which we are not able to see today, right? And that will help us to accelerate even our current AI systems. So right now we are doing image processing with say 30 frames per second or 100 frames per second. So tomorrow if we have better timers, so which can go up to attosecond 10 power minus 19 kind of frequencies, so that's the time where you will be able to see these images to much more better resolution of depths, right? So we have cameras coming with 40,000 frames per second. So now imagine, right now our normal cameras are 30 frames per second. And these are timers, that devices that are going to help us in building these things. So going back to where the technology is moving, so there are organizations in Europe and US focusing on the sensing technologies in a big way, particularly on magnetometry and timers, a lot of developments that are happening. So India, through the National Quantum Mission, there's a lot of effort that's going on this one. So today we have 15 TGs working on quantum technologies, 15 technology groups, 15 institutions that are working on this one. So about 30 people, 30 professors are actively involved in this development of these technologies. And you can also imagine the number of researchers and the postdocs who are involved in those teams building the capability for India. Right, and we are proud to associate with some of these groups. So I'll give few examples where we are associated with. So one is with IIT Bombay. So we are working with quantum sensing group there, Professor Kasturi Sahaji. There we are working on the magnetometry. So we're working with ICER Bhopal, so which is again a magnetometry for a problem, a different problem that we are addressing there. So we're also working with other institutes like IIT Kanpur, so where we are doing quantum imaging, so which is based on an entanglement phenomenon, so which will help us to characterize many interesting things like gases or air quality or things like that. So we're also working with other subgroups like IIT Chennai and groups who are working on NV Center diamonds, etc. So a lot of activity is happening in Indian scenario. So there are also subsystems that are required to do this better. So we need photon detectors, photon particle counters, etc., and timers. So those activities are also going on in full swing in India. So it's not a catch-up game. So we are actually doing a lot of real work. So we have to build products and then make them world-class and then get to the market. And that is the effort that we are going to do. And the outcomes will also be significant, because these sensors are not just sensors, they will also augment a lot of information to the current AI. And that's where we feel there is a big play for these sensors. So you can imagine all the current healthcare microscopes getting replaced with the quantum microscopes.
Yeah. So I have a follow-up question on this, because you are coming from industry and you mentioned about going to market from the lab. So what kind of challenges you actually come across when you are doing this kind of transition, especially and also especially if you can mention that what are the large value applications you are looking into, especially in sensing?
Yeah, right. So to realize a high TRL product is still very challenging because the work that is going on right now, we are able to capture the images coming out of these magnetometers, and now we have to do AI to improvise those images on top of it, and that's a challenge, and that's where TCS comes into play. And our teams are actually supporting the research institutions in terms of helping them with enhancing those images and then make meaning out of it and then build the product, and that brings the completeness of the product. So it's a tough activity, a lot of challenges involved, and the repeatability is also requires high experimentation, high levels of experimentation. So it's a good amount of effort that is going on both from the research institution side and from the TCS side in terms of helping these groups. We also bring a lot of industrial challenges. So that's another important thing, right? Many times it's also difficult to imagine the application of the sensor. We can make a sensor, like for example, NPL is working on very interesting things. So in order to find the application for those, the example is a timer, right? So we have to bring a problem statement that would require this 10 power minus 18 kind of requirement and then apply that in a real world scenario, right? So those are the things that we bring to the table, and that's how we work collaboratively with universities and then make this research progress.
Thank you. So we have the one more vertical, that is quantum materials and devices, and Professor Rajan Singh is here. So Professor Rajan Singh, we would like to know about the importance of this area and also various national and international efforts which are being done in quantum material and devices.
Okay, thanks, Professor Bhaskar Kanseri. So it's a very important question, and internationally, a lot of, like, let's say, labs, if you see, which are involved, be it USA or European countries or Japan, there's a lot of emphasis on the development of materials and device technologies which are going to be enabling the various, like, let's say, communication, computing, and sensing technologies in the future. And as far as India is concerned, this quantum materials and devices hub has been, like, let's say, sanctioned, and within this national quantum mission framework. And in this quantum materials and devices hub, we are working on different types of materials. So starting from 3-5 compound semiconductors to 2D quantum materials and silicon nitride based material platform for photonic computing. So these are, like, let's say, are being worked upon by various institutions right now. And in future also, like, let's say, we are exploring the possibility of having novel kind of materials apart from, like, conventional superconductors, which are being right now used for superconducting qubit based, like, let's say, computers. We're also exploring novel high TC superconductor materials, also topological insulator, which currently, like, let's say, has a lot of promise but not have been explored so much. And also different type of, like, let's say, other materials. From the device perspective, we are focusing on the fabrication, designing, fabrication, characterization of single photon emitters and single photon detectors, which are going to be useful for quantum communication and also quantum sensing and metrology. So there is a lot of, like, let's say, directed effort to build these kind of materials, starting from the designing, from the synthesis, the growth of these materials, characterization, and thereby, like, let's say, and the important point here is in this materials and devices hub, we are also emphasizing in upscaling. So earlier, like, let's say, the research which is being conducted is mostly, like, let's say, at the research level. What we can say, it's more or less, like, let's say, ending at a publication TRL 3 or 4. Now we want to take this further up to TRL 8 or even 9 also, so that this material which we are fabricating, it is, like, let's say, now going to be in the market. It is going to be available in India through some kind of, let us say, industry, and it is on a large area, not only small samples where people work in the lab and then, like, let's say, eventually you have demonstrated a device on that material, but you cannot upscale it. We want to grow, like, let's say, large area wafers and have, like, let's say, arrays of devices fabricated on these wafers. And these wafers or these thin films could be of different materials. One example which is very important right now is this lithium niobate, which has a lot of application in classical communication, but also in quantum communication in future, which is used for modulators, waveguides, photonic integrated circuits. So currently this material is being exported. All the groups, as far as I know, are being, like, let's say, are buying it from various countries, and the cost is, like, let's say, in 3 years, I have seen the cost has doubled. And I think there is no reason that we cannot grow this material here, make the wafers and give it to the, like let's say, other verticals for other users. So this is something which will be through this mission, through this quantum materials and devices hub, will be enabled in the coming years. Another 2-3 years, like let's say, and most of these things will be available in India. And this is what is the promise of this quantum materials and devices hub. We will be kind of interacting very closely with the other hubs, other users, and taking their feedback on the materials as well as the device requirements.
Uh, so that comes to something which we also use in our lab. For example, all these devices which you mentioned, we are all importing. So it would be great if they are available in-house or within India. So we would be able to use them, and that way our dependence on imports could be further reduced. We have Sunil also here, who is from QNU Labs, and I have a very generic question for you, because quantum has become a buzzword nowadays. Everybody talks about quantum, and there is a lot of hype in the market. People talk about that, okay, everything is possible, or sometimes they suddenly change the gears and say, no, this is not possible at all. So how you see it actually? Can you demystify us about quantum, and also tell us that how it is pecking orders globally in the quantum race?
Yeah, sure. Um, so you're right. It was a hype some time back, but I think a good part is now it is converting into realism, and we are seeing now some very interesting use cases. So I'll tell you how the world is looking at it. Right. Of course, part of it's covered by Prashant, that the different countries have taken different calls. In US has taken a software-based, PQC-based. China has done QKD, and countries like India, we have taken a hybrid approach, both PQC and QKD for obvious reasons. So, but I think the key difference that what we are seeing across the world is that how do you see this technology creating a business impact? If you are able to make a change in the lives of people, then real world changes, right? And I think people have, initially it happens with every new technology. Initially there's a tech excitement, and people talk about tech. We also did that when we started. We were happy to talk about photons, entanglement, and so on, but nobody cared. Right? We all cared, but then the customers don't care about it. They don't care about product. What they care about is what difference would this technology make? So what we are seeing world over is that, and this tech, right, if you look at it in communication, quantum computing, how it impacts in two ways. One is it will break digital certificates. So authentication is a problem, right? In cybersecurity, authentication is the biggest challenge, that can you really authenticate a user saying he's the right guy who's coming into the system, accessing the right things, and so on. And second aspect is that all my data, which is critical, both in transit and at rest, how can I protect that? So if you look from these two perspectives, what we are seeing in the worldwide, the companies like DigiTrust, Entrust, DigiCert, and Entrust, they all have started looking at how do we build a quantum safe digital certificates, right? They were the first ones to do that. Fortunately, in India, as a QNU Labs, we started doing 4 years ago that, right? And today we have a couple of customers on that stuff. So what I'm saying is that in this space, there are two key areas that we're doing. One is this, how do we do authentication, get the digital certificates in place, which requires CA systems to be ready, internal CAs needs to be done, key management system has to be managed, and so on. Other aspect is that in a data in transit, the networks. That the networks have to be very important. And that is where, and both for whether it's a BFSI sector, healthcare, or anywhere, the communication networks are very important because a lot of data goes on the network. That is where the telecom players come in, telcos. And how they're seeing is that they already have optical fibers, right? And now those optical fibers are already a deployed infrastructure. How they can convert a mere fiber optics and transform into a quantum safe network. If you're able to do that, you allow your customers, like telcos will be able to monetize that and offer a quantum security as a service to their customers, which could be banks or hospitals or anything else. So if you look from that use case point of view, we are already seeing the lot of top telcos, whether the South Korean Telecom, British Telecom, Deutsche Telecom, Verizon, and then in India we are seeing 2 or 3, BSNL and a couple of more. They all are trying to see that how do they offer quantum security as a service on their networks to the customers, right? And that is what a lot of use cases are happening and worldwide. JP Morgan, for example, they had 2 data centers across the 2 shores, right? East Coast and West Coast. And they did recently, about a few months ago, they actually used QKD and a PQC together to show that how they can connect securely to 2 data centers as a network. China also did a network about 2,000 kilometer, I think probably 8,000 kilometer now, using QKD and a trusted nodes over a longer distance period. So I think these are the key use cases, largely around what impact did you create. Banks are also trying to secure their mobile applications now. It goes on the internet. I send my lot of user data. Healthcare, the people are worried about that the medical data, EHR, the electronics health record, are very, very critical, a piece of information. It is sold at the highest value on the dark web. Almost each record is sold at $100, right, on the dark web for that, because it is very, very critical information. Now people are worried about that in the post-quantum world, how the health records will be accessed. So obviously all the healthcare institutes are trying to figure out that a lot of data goes on to the R&D organization within their own organizations. How do they protect that? So this is what overall scenario is. And I will just talk about what is happening in India, if you allow me.
So the time is brief. Maybe as a follow-up, you can tell the audience about QNU Lab itself, that how they are, what kind of segments, market segments you are looking into, and what kind of products you are offering. Very, very briefly.
Okay. Yeah. So CUNY Lab saw this opportunity in 2016 when India announced that we will move from a cash-based economy to a digital economy. So we saw that digital trust is going to be the most important thing. So what we did is, we started looking at first obviously a QKD. So we built India's first QKD product, which is now certified by TEC, deployed in Indian Army, Navy, and several other places outside India as well. But 3 years ago, we realized that the real journey for India has to do is a hybrid. And hybrid, I don't mean classical and PQC, because PQC is not quantum. It's about QKD and PQC, right? That's the real use cases come up. So we built those platforms. So we realized that the quantum security has to be a SaaS. So we built India's first SaaS platform, enterprise SaaS platform, where now our customer can access and quantum security as a service, right? So that's when a National Quantum Mission helped us in that part, because we are invested by National Quantum Mission. So what we are doing, we have taken a responsibility in ourselves to see that India is protected, all critical infrastructure is protected using state-of-the-art technology.
So thank you. So Nilesh, you come from 42 labs, and you are a co-founder and also a CEO of that lab, and that is mainly toward quantum safe cryptography. So if you could tell our audience a bit about what you have been doing and how this quantum safe cryptography is essentially being placed at the world of quantum.
Perfect. Thank you so much for asking that question, although a simple question but a difficult, because everybody has already covered. So let me basically put this in a context of uninitiated. Okay, the guys who are knowledgeable already knows what the post-quantum cryptography means. See, today, where are you carrying your assets? Simple question to the audience. Where are your assets? Most of your assets are there here, right? Your bank, your stocks, everything is here. And who is protecting your asset today? Your asset today is getting protected by a classical mathematics. What is cryptography? Cryptography is nothing but a mathematics, right? There are mathematical algorithms which are protecting your assets today. What happens if, let's say, the classical mathematics gets broken by a quantum computer? The way that we basically call it as a QD, right? That's where you need to actually design a new kind of a mathematics. Okay, which is, what is the objective of this new mathematics? The objective of this new mathematics is even if the enemy has an unbounded computational power, right? I can see some defense friends as well here, right? And China would have done lots of investments, almost $15 billion worth of investment. So if enemy has an unbounded amount of computational power, how do we secure ourselves? So that's where you need a new type of a mathematics which can be proven that it cannot be broken. What is it called? Post-quantum cryptography. Okay. Now there are technical aspects to this. So there are multiple types of algorithms that are there. Now since the time is limited, Bhaskarji, I'm aware of that. I will not cover all of this. Okay. Now, second question. Now there is a post-quantum cryptography which exists into the world. But as far as digital sovereignty is concerned, India's sovereignty is concerned, I think NQM has done a fantastic job. I think you have seen two phenomenal presentations today, one by Agrawalji and one other by Guramji. Now let me put that in a context. See, if I am saying that I have come out with a post-quantum cryptography product for defense and banking, who's going to basically evaluate that? Okay, that was the first presentation which Agrawalji did, which is basically setting up the evaluation framework for the products which will come out of India. As on date today, unfortunately, it doesn't exist, right? So evaluation, good thinking. But then somebody needs to tell the industry as well, right? How do you migrate? How do you actually migrate towards a post-quantum cryptogram? That was the second presentation. So these are the fantastic two subcommittees which has been formed to actually kickstart the Indian ecosystem part of it, okay? So that's the part of the government. As far as our company is concerned, 42 Labs, we started around in 2016. Remember 2016, the NIST standards were not there, okay? And at that point of time, very fortunate that defense actually threw us the problem statement saying we need a quantum safe messaging system, right? We built the algorithms ground up, developed the systems on top of it. Subsequent to that, started commercializing this technology into civilian domain. And what are we protecting today? Your banks. That's correct. Okay. So we are deployed into the banks. Okay. We are securing the BFSI transaction. Almost 90 million transactions we are securing on day-to-day basis within the bank. And of course, we are helping our defense friends to basically kickstart their journey towards the quantum safe ecosystem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So since the time is limited, I would like to open the floor for public for one or two questions, if there are any which are not covered in this panel discussion. So anybody having any question related to any aspects of National Quantum Mission or about the technologies? Yeah, please.
Today, if you see the maturity of technology in a quantum, basically photonics is a majorly can find TR level 9. What are the potential and technology can come up in future, the TRL 8 and 9? Can you, where we can potential application we can find it, where it is can give direction to industry as the researchers to take forward in this area?
So coming to photonics or even a smaller number of qubit systems when computation you are talking about, so they have a potential of cryptography or like, you can have an algorithms which can be key generations or something, right? Like probably one of the, to give an example, one of the earlier result from IBM, Google actually, 53 qubit was a random circuit which generated a huge rate of random numbers out of it. So now you can engineer your smaller number of qubit system to generate a controlled set of keys for your cyber security applications. And these could be just a small 4 qubit, 8 qubit, 10 qubit system which are portable, and you can engineer your keys accordingly for you want it for communication or cyber security or for your VPN generations. So that is one of the earlier high TRL level systems. You don't need error corrections, and this could be a plug and use devices. In fact, that's one of the first kind of devices which even under National Quantum Mission we are thinking of bringing out as a product.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, I think I summarized as a key takeaway, that is the government have done their job. They have put an enabler as National Quantum Mission. DST is handling it very, very nicely and giving us all kind of facilities to develop quantum technologies. So now it's our job to be actively part of it and contribute for the nation for making us Atmanirbhar. So thank you very much, all of you. So you have been very, very timely and very, very precise, crisp about your statements. Thank you very much. So over.
Thank you, Professor Kanseri, and all the esteemed panelists for that engaging and insightful discussion. The exchange of ideas today truly reflects India's growing strength in quantum science, technology, and entrepreneurship. I would now request Dr. Ekta Kapoor to kindly present a memento to Professor Bhaskar Kanseri. I'll request Mr. Ishan to present a memento to Professor Chandrasekhar. I'll request Ms. Tanushri to present a memento to Dr. Prashant Chugh. I'll request Ms. Rajni to present a memento to Dr. C.V. Sridhar. I'll request Dr. Atul Gupta from CDOT to present a memento to Dr. Rajendra Singh. I'll request Mr. Satya to present a memento to Dr. Sunil Gupta. I'll request Mr. Krishna to present a memento to Dr. Nilesh Tande. As we come to the close of today's proceedings, it is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks. On behalf of Department of Science and Technology and National Quantum Mission, I extend heartfelt gratitude to Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, all our speakers, panelists for their valuable contributions, and to all the participants for joining us today. We are also thankful to India Mobile Congress 2025 organizers for their collaboration in making this event possible. As we look ahead, may the spirit of collaboration continue to drive India's leadership in quantum technologies. I'll request all of you to have the DST and the NQM team to kindly have a photograph, a group photograph.